everybody. Welcome to the Deep Focus Show. I'm Aidan,
I'm Clayton.
I'm Taavi.
and we're continuing our series on the filmography of Steven Spielberg. And today we're going to be looking at his fifth film, which is 1941, which is kind of a throwback screwball comedy, which takes place during the early years of the Second World War with a huge ensemble cast of characters, and a lot of shit happens.
What you need is a little pick-me-up. I'll give you up. What the hell do you people think you're doing? You're acting like a bunch of Tojo stooges.
So
Big cast, yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, a ton of, Toshiro Mifune, Christopher Lee, Ned Beatty, Elisha Cook, like so many stars. And what was your guys' familiarity with this one?
Zilch. I knew nothing. I saw the poster like a couple of days before I started watching it. I didn't even know the poster. I know it's a film that he made at the tail end of the 70s, and it didn't get massive acclaim, and it's an odd duck. And for the longest time I thought it was a drama. Even looking at the poster, because I know 70s aesthetic, I guess, can be a little bit zany. And I thought even this, like, maybe this was a drama, but also a little bit zany. But the poster kind of gives it away. If you really look hard at it, it is not a drama. So,
No.
yeah.
Yeah. I basically some of the same thoughts Clay just said. So haven't seen it before. I knew that like it flopped, and it's like in the middle of like these Jaws and Close Encounters, and next this Raiders and E.T. So basically a lot of those four are big films, and this kind of didn't do as well. And
Yeah, this kind of gets lost in the shuffle, but
yeah.
yeah, I kind of knew it as like an early flop in Spielberg's career, as kind of like considered like one of his weaker early films that he kind of had to bounce back from with his next one, Indiana Jones. So, but yeah, I didn't know a ton about it.
Yeah, I'd imagine a lot of people don't.
Yeah,
I mean, if you go on his filmography page on Wikipedia, you look through each of the names in chronological order, you see 1941, you're going to immediately think war, and
yeah,
it's misleading. It's kind of cool, that effect, but
yeah. Well, and especially that the two films before this are Jaws and Close Encounters, and the two films after this are Raiders of the Lost Ark and E.T. It's like that's like the core, almost like the core of the old Spielberg, and this is just like right in the middle, but no one really talks about it.
Yep.
So 1941 is a different kind of Spielberg film. As I said before, it was absolutely crazy. I really liked this aspect, how star-studded cast was. There's so many people. I mentioned some of them earlier, but There was Aykroyd and Belushi and Slim Pickens was in it, John Candy, like just so many people, and it's fun to pick them out. And I think this film, it's very obviously going for this epic comedy style, which I think is interesting. I don't think that's done very often, to do such a huge like project, but it be a comedy. I really like that aspect. Overall, I think it's a very good film. I really don't understand why this was poorly received. I think it has a lot of good comedy elements. I think there's a lot of fun sequences, and there's a lot of opportunities for Spielberg to kind of throw back to an earlier era with the style. I like the big scene where they're offering the contract to the winner at the USO dance, which I think it's just a cool scene. There's a ton of stuff that happens. I really like the stuff on the Japanese sub is very funny, with Christopher Lee having the role as like a Nazi commander against the playing against the Japanese forces. I think that stuff's cool. I really like Belushi, who is playing kind of a crazed bomber captain, kind of, which he's very fun as well. I'm not entire. I think Dan Aykroyd is kind of underused here. That's a minor complaint. I think he could be contributing a lot more, especially when you consider this is only like a year before something like The Blues Brothers, which, you know, uses him so much better. But overall,
Mhm.
I think it's a very good film. I think there's famously an extended cut that's a lot longer, about 30 minutes. Um, some stuff was cut out. I'm somewhat interested in that, but as a film just by itself, I was impressed. I'm giving it a 4.5. I really enjoyed it. It was fun,
Wow.
and I had a good time. So 4.5.
Wow.
Damn.
Okay.
Taavi, you're up. Ah.
I don't know what's happening there, but with Clay's like
I'm going nuts. Let me tell you, Jesus.
um yeah, I watched this the other day, 1941, and yeah, a lot happened, a lot went by, and I forgot a lot about it. Basically.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
um um I don't know, like I think I appreciate all the effects and stuff, and I think it looks pretty nice, and like there's funny like one-liner types thrown at it, and some slapstick humor and sort of, and Dan Aykroyd is funny and all. I think the main problem for me is that it's everything is so big, and it almost I kind of would have liked that it kind of would be more calm sometimes. Like I get, perhaps it's I think I think you're correct. It's like this epic sort of comedy type of film, but I don't know. Hard to even like remember all the many things that happened. But uh, I thought the opening was pretty funny with the Jaws. reference, like with the woman swimming and all in the beach. I think that was a good start, and perhaps it set the scene for the whole film to go by. And I think a lot of the comedy didn't really stick on me. It's not a bad watch in a way, but like I think more of a disappointing for me. Like I think I would have liked, like I said, to get some. I don't know is basing the right word here, but it's all spectacle. It I felt like. So I don't know. I don't know what to. I'm even like struggling to like find a good placement. It might even be a 2.5 for me, honestly. Like this wasn't for me. Like I enjoyed some of the jokes and all, but I think it was too much, basically. Unfortunately, like I think it has a pretty good premise to go, and I guess it's pretty unique in a way, and it has a big budget too for this type of film. But yeah, maybe it's a 2.5. I don't know. Like it could be a 3, but yeah, it's
You
not
gotta
a
make a
film I
choice.
would go by. Damn. I'm gonna
I'm
say now
putting you in a corner
2.5.
here. What?
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
A strong 2.5. Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
see where
guess.
this is. I see where this is going again. Um, I want
The
to make
middleman
some notes.
again.
What's that?
I'm the middleman again, or
We'll see.
we'll see. Yeah.
We'll see.
Sorry,
Right
Aidan.
now,
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
yeah, me too. I'm not going to knock anybody's enjoying it down. And I actually, we were talking about this earlier. I feel bad whenever I dislike something, and Aiden probably feels has the same sentiments. And another thing, I appreciate that we're doing this episodically, because usually whenever I go through a director and we rank them, we have Terrence Malick and Wes Anderson's going to be released pretty soon. I try to each movie I go in chronological order, and I research everything at the beginning at that time period. I'm not going to know everything from the get-go because I'm not an expert in history. Not a lot of people are, but I'm here to educate myself. We're here to educate ourselves on this podcast. So anyways, last night I put this one on. And yeah, I watched this last night. I was sort of putting it off because for a while I thought this was a drama, and I was like, man, another war film. For context, I'll explain the context later. I put this one on. I was greeted to loads of text, Star Wars style. Sort of, the type. I've never seen Star Wars, but come on. And then the first scene, see a woman in the ocean. Immediately, my thoughts as it progressed. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is going on? What is happening? Opening your movie with a parody and using the same actress of your most acclaimed film takes fucking guts. The absolute gall of this man. I feel like this movie was mismarketed, and marketing techniques can truly make a difference. This doesn't get discussed in discourse. It doesn't get discussed whenever you're looking at Steven Spielberg as a whole, except that it's his little ugly duck in the middle of big films like we were talking about. Straight from the movie poster, though, you can tell that this movie is zany, like I was saying. So luckily I went into this blind. I did not see trailers, no promos from the past outside of this poster. I think it should have been marketed as a drama instead of this farce, because looking at history, it wasn't marketed like that. And God, it's a farce. And I'm gonna be honest, it's a bit too much. So it becomes absolute fucking cringe. Here's the thing. I'm okay with making a farce. However, I prefer my satire to be smart. And above all, I prefer my comedies to be funny. I did not find this funny at all. I don't know what this movie is trying to say. I think we as a collective whole kind of gets bored and in spite of ourselves, so we kind of fill that void with war. And war can be good satire if you do it right. And I think that's kind of what this movie maybe might be trying to say. We're bored, so let's go to war. I find it interesting. I saw this movie, like I was saying, right after I watched such a poignant and potent look at war, and Terrence Malick's Thin Red Line, which we're going to release that pretty soon once Wes Anderson is out. It's going to be a fun watch as I continue his filmography. And I do have hope for this Spielberg project. I do like Spielberg. I think some of my scores reflect that in a way, like with Jaws. Some of the shots here are pretty grand. The city lights, very nice lighting. A lot of the shots are pretty massive in scope. Like Aidan was saying, it's really comparable, but it has no business to be in this type of film. I think it's disjointed and it's weird. And Spielberg's catalog, there's a great cast here. Even Charlton Heston was considered for roles in this film, but I don't think that could save this film if he was in it, because everybody here, that cast. John Wayne too was considered. He told Spielberg not to take this film and called it un-American, and I'm not sure what that implies, but yikes on bikes. I will say, if the very thing you're trying to satire and make an anti-war statement on has even deeper implications, then you have a problem. And there are some pretty deep implications here, in my opinion. Robert Zemeckis wrote this film. The last film was inspired by Pinocchio, and it's ironic that he's making Pinocchio now. There's a dance sequence in this that I did like seeing. It reminded me of West Side Story a little bit, which we're going to get to much later in the future. I don't have any kind of patience for this type of stuff. It's sort of watered down, and it probably paved the way for cringe satires in the 80s via the likes of 16 Candles, which we're going to get to eventually. War and sex are interesting metaphors, and that does this here. Look at Dr. Strangelove, a decent film. This is pathetic. This is the worst film I've seen on this podcast. It's worse than Fear to Desire. It's worse than Killer's Kiss. It's worse than Murder Party, and I'm going 1.5 stars. I did not like it, and I'm sorry.
Cool.
That's my soapbox. Aidan,
We have
I'm
some
so
good
glad you like
quotes
this.
for this episode. We have "What the fuck is happening?" Absolute fucking cringe. We got a lot of good stuff to work with.
Yeah, we do. We do. I hope everybody is proud. I'll include some videos from this film in case people want to get into that. I think it's good. I think if you're going through a director's catalog, it's good to look at this kind of stuff and watch these kind of films. You might find enjoyment out of it, like Aidan does. So, and I'm happy for him. I'm glad. I'm glad. But we're in the same trajectory. Is it ever going to end? Who knows?
It'll end by the time of West Side Story. I can tell you that.
Oh, that's not fair. You saw the original West Side Story, right, Aidan?
Yes.
What did you think of that?
I think it's pretty good. It's not my favorite of Robert Wise's films, but I think it's pretty strong.
Yeah. Well, yeah. This was an interesting episode.
Yeah.
Probably our shortest in Spielbergathon.
Maybe,
Tom,
yeah.
Chris, Andrew, Rupert, Jens, and everybody who's going to be hosting with us in our upcoming schedule. I thank you all.
Forgot Vanessa. Rude.
Vanessa, my sweet. Yes, I'm so sorry. Any other closing thoughts you guys have?
I liked it.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah. That yeah. Yeah. Like I don't know. I would have liked something. 2 hours was a bit too much. Like I'm glad we're doing the theatrical versions because
Mhm.
half an hour more. Oh dear.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah. No,
dear.
I saw the runtime, and I thought that was 2 hours with ads, but I forgot that I rented this movie on Amazon whenever I could have gotten it free on Plex. That's fine. I
Yeah.
wouldn't rent a
Yeah.
movie like this. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
what is with these
Yeah.
like streaming sites like Plex and Tubi where they have free content and those are I find that weird. I find it odd.
Because
Um,
they have ads, so it's free.
yeah, but like they have very niche movies like this one, and this is a niche film. Uh, so it's kind of weird. Like they can't just put that on Amazon. I don't know. At least free with ads. I don't know. It's
Yeah, I
fine.
don't know.
Who's excited
Hmm.
for Indiana Jones? Because I'm kind of excited
Me,
to.
I
Yeah,
am.
I'm excited to
of
look at it
course.
through a mature, fresh perspective. Fresh pair of eyes. I'm gonna be very delicate with it. I'm gonna say that.
Cool.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, and give us your 1941. How did you like this film?
Oh, don't lie.
In the
Nobody's seen
comments.
this film. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. I'm sure someone has. We have.
Oh my. Oh my. But yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
give us your
Thank you.
comments.
Bye.
Thank you for watching, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.